He's a professor of contemporary Middle East politics at Qatar University. Welcome back to the program, Professor. Let's start with this temporary truce idea that's being proposed by Egypt. Abdel-Fattah-al-Sisi is suggesting a two-day truce in which a number of Israeli hostages would be swapped for the release of Palestinian prisoners being held. Is that a proposal that Israel is likely to accept or even consider?
I'm not sure that the Israelis will be ready. I mean, to have implementation for such a proposal, you need at least 10 days. So it's for logistic reasons. I'm not sure that is the realistic proposal. And myself, as someone following the situation in the region, I'm not sure this is a realistic proposal. Considering the situation in Gaza, the humanitarian situation, the killing of people in Gaza, the genocides going on. You know, every day since the war started, 386 people killed or injured. So you can imagine how much they can do. I'm not sure that's realistic, and all the proposals actually going in the direction of giving more support to the, I think, Biden administration. There is 1 week where the Democrats are suffering on the all public opinion surveys, and they are about to lose the presidential, the White House. And I think there's a lot of attempts to help them by having a truce sooner than later, because that's the only response they can present to a lot of democratic base in the United States. I think all of this is motivated by the situation concerning the American elections.
Yes, and what about the more substantial talks that have resumed in Doha? We've got the head of the CIA who's there, also representatives from Mossad. Is that likely to yield any sort of progress? Because we know up until now there has been very little progress on that front.
I think, again, looking at the situation, the Americans, they tried to break down the whole military operation. That was their proposal or their approach since day one of suggesting any kind of ceasefire, because they believe that if they have at least 1 month a ceasefire, that will break down the whole military operation, and then they will be able to convince the Israelis. And the other side, the Israelis believe that they killed Sinwar, they killed most of the leadership of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, and some military leaders. So basically they can impose all solutions on Hamas. They come from different perspectives. The reality is Hamas says no mediation, no talk about ceasefire unless our conditions were met. And they are still on the 4 conditions suggested in July 2024, where basically the Israelis, they don't want to accept at all. So basically, as long as Hamas is not on the table, I'm not sure any proposal will succeed. And also, the Americans try to build on that, because if they have a ceasefire in Gaza, immediately the operation will be nearly stopped in the southern Lebanon. So basically, there is a link. They try to to have a ceasefire in Gaza so they can stop the war in southern Lebanon. And I'm not sure that Hamas and Hezbollah is ready to accept the Israelis' conditions.
Yes, and as we've been reporting, we know that the Israelis have intensified their strikes on southern Lebanon as we go to air right now. So you're saying the two conflicts are intrinsically linked. So there really can't be a truce in Gaza without something similar in Lebanon. And because Israel is looking to deepen its assault on Lebanon, the likelihood of a truce in Gaza is minimal.
It is minimum so far. There are some reports that the director of Mossad will remain tonight in Doha, which means there are some, I would say, optimism about what's happening. But as long as he has no mandate, that itself is making more people pessimistic about the situation. There is one major change I think we have to pay attention to, which is the gallant statement in the last 24 hours, where he said, that Israelis should focus on releasing the hostages, and that itself showing that there is a division again emerging within the government, and this may be used basically to push Netanyahu. But having said that, I think Netanyahu is ready to get rid of Gallant anytime soon. I think he will be happy to get rid of him unless the Iranians said they will respond seriously. If Iranian promised to respond, I think he has no choice but to keep gallant, despite the fact that he is against him 100% of continuing the war.
Okay, Professor Mahjoob Zweiri, we'll have to leave it there, but it's great to get your analysis as always. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Thank you.